Beth and Rip's Yellowstone spinoff is actually bad news for the couple. Beth and Rip's Yellowstone story, continuing in their own spinoff, could prove bad news for the couple. Kelly Riley and Cole Hauser's Beth and Rip characters are a staple of the Yellowstone cast, emerging as the leads of the neo-western after Kevin Costner's Yellowstone exit. Since day one, Beth and Rip have been with us, fighting alongside John Dutton as his most loyal stewards. After John Dutton's death, just days before the Yellowstone Season 5 finale, a report prematurely confirmed that Beth and Rip's story would continue, with Riley and Hauser leading an offshoot of the flagship. The ending of Yellowstone Season 5 allowed Beth and Rip to move on from protecting John Dutton's legacy when Case sold the family's heirloom ranch to the Broken Rock tribe. With the Duttons fulfilling a forgotten promise, Case and Beth stepped away from their family's 7-generation homestead and moved on, respectively. Case settled at East Camp, with Tate and Monica near the reservation. And Beth and Rip also started a new beginning that included their adopted son, Carter. Now that the Lovebird story will continue outside the flagship, there's one thing we know for sure about what's next for them. In Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 14, Beth tells her husband that she bought a ranch in Dillon, Montana. Beth notes that the little house and big barn are why she chose the homestead, noting its irrigated hay meadows where Rip can earn a living managing about 600 pairs of cattle. The end of the episode shows Beth and Rip moving onto their new ranch satisfyingly, with Beth looking out across its thousands of acres into the mountains. If Beth and Rip's story ended with the Yellowstone Season 5 finale, their lives would forever be frozen at that moment in time. Therefore, if Yellowstone ended with that scene of Beth, Rip, and Carter, it would preserve the family's happily hard-earned ever after. While Rip notes that the ranch, located 40 miles west of Dillon, will be very active, Beth notes that the property's isolation aligns with her desire to live without tourists wandering in and out of her life. Lloyd notes that the area Beth chose for their homestead experiences brutal winters and bug-infested summers. But perhaps we could imagine that Beth will get an expensive fur coat and somehow outsmart the bugs like she's outsmarted everyone else. Beth and Rip's story continuation will inevitably disrupt the family's happy ending, considering they will need to experience some form of conflict to tell a compelling story. The continuation of the characters means that Beth and Rip will face new hardships, which will likely extend beyond the harsh winters and frustrating summers they endure. While the new Dutton-Wheeler Ranch pales compared to the Yellowstone, which comprises hundreds of thousands of acres, Beth and Rip maintaining 7,000 acres of private land and 20,000 acres of BLM land will come with corresponding hurdles. Voro's comments imply that Beth and Rip's complex backgrounds may complicate the simplicity of their future, suggesting that happily ever after is a simplified notion for characters like Beth and Rip. Voro's directly implied that Beth and Rip's Yellowstone story could be the beginning of another Dutton tragedy. Her take on the couple's Yellowstone fate is that Yellowstone screenwriter Taylor Sheridan set up Beth and Rip's conclusion so that their story could go in either direction, equally inclined to evolve into a fairy tale as it is to end in disaster. There's no doubt that the couple share a deep love for one another, but Voro's comments insinuate Beth and Rip's spin-off story could test their marriage. It's worth considering that Beth and Rip have always existed on the ranch with a common enemy, fighting for the fate of the Dutton legacy side by side. Without a common enemy to attack, one has to wonder where Beth and Rip will channel the chaotic energy that embroils their experience, especially since the Yellowstone Season 5 finale suggested the land in Dillon, Montana, wouldn't be kind to the couple, adding stress to their situation. Voro's noted dark secrets in her comments, which could hint at Beth keeping Rip in the dark about aborting their pregnancy when they were adolescents. Rip knows that Beth is infertile, but the couple has yet to process the trauma of why that happened together. Still, while new experiences could drag a wedge between them, it's difficult to imagine an ending to Beth and Rip's story in which the couple separates voluntarily, especially considering Sheridan's history of penning indelible power couples for Yellowstone. That said, Vora's comments suggest tragedy could follow the couple regardless. In the world of television spin-offs, few concepts ignite excitement like the promise of deeper dives into beloved characters. When news broke about a Yellowstone spin-off centering on Beth Dutton and Rip Wheeler, fans erupted with joy. After all, the fiery romance between Beth and Rip has been a cornerstone of the original series, captivating viewers with its intensity and raw emotion. However, as thrilling as the prospect may seem, the spin-off could spell trouble for the iconic couple, both narratively and creatively. The risk of overexposure. One of the primary reasons Beth and Rip's relationship resonates so deeply is its placement within the broader Yellowstone saga. Amidst land wars, family drama, and moral dilemmas, their love story offers a sanctuary of passion and loyalty. By isolating them in a spin-off, the mystique of their bond risks dilution. Without the backdrop of the Dutton Ranch and its web of conflicts, can their dynamic remain as compelling? Overexposure to their relationship could strip away the nuances that make it special, reducing it to repetitive arguments and reconciliations. Narrative challenges. Beth and Rip's arc on Yellowstone is intrinsically tied to the larger Dutton family saga. Their motivations, decisions, and struggles stem from their roles within the ranch's ecosystem. A spin-off would necessitate a new setting, new challenges, and new stakes. While this might seem like an opportunity to explore uncharted territory, it could also lead to a disconnect from what made them beloved in the first place. Imagine Rip and Beth managing a cattle ranch far from Montana, dealing with new antagonists and neighbors. Without the Dutton legacy looming over them, would their conflicts carry the same weight? The danger of flattening complex characters. Beth and Rip are deeply layered characters. Beth is a tempest, brilliant, vengeful, and emotionally scarred. Rip is her anchor, a man of few words but immense loyalty. Together, they create a volatile yet balanced dynamic. The spin-offs need to sustain their story over multiple episodes or seasons could lead to the flattening of their characters. Beth's fiery independence might be softened to make her more relatable, and Rip's stoicism might morph into an overplayed trope. These changes could alienate fans who cherish their complexity. Struggles with pacing. Yellowstone's pacing allows Beth and Rip's relationship to ebb and flow naturally. Their moments of tenderness and conflict are interspersed with other storylines, creating a rhythm that keeps viewers engaged. A spin-off focused solely on them would require constant narrative momentum. This could lead to contrived drama, manufactured conflicts that feel out of character, just to sustain viewer interest. Over time, this could erode the authenticity of their bond. The risk of outshining the original. Spin-offs often face the challenge of living up to their predecessor's legacy. If the Beth and Rip spin-off is too successful, it might inadvertently overshadow Yellowstone, creating tension within the franchise. Conversely, if it fails to capture the same magic, it could tarnish the couple's legacy. Walking this tightrope is no easy feat, and the stakes are high for both the characters and the network. A strain on their relationship. From a narrative perspective, sustaining a central romance over multiple seasons is notoriously difficult. Conflict is the lifeblood of storytelling, but Beth and Rip's love thrives on their mutual trust and loyalty. Introducing significant rifts to generate drama could feel forced and undermine their established dynamic. Alternatively, a lack of conflict might result in a stagnant, uninteresting story. The very act of expanding their relationship into a spin-off could place undue strain on it, leading to its unraveling. The absence of supporting characters. Beth and Rip's interactions with other characters are crucial to their development. John Dutton's influence, Case's sibling dynamics, and even Jamie's antagonism shape their narratives. A spin-off would likely necessitate the creation of a new ensemble cast. While this could introduce fresh perspectives, it's a gamble. If the new characters fail to resonate, the spin-off might feel hollow and disconnected from the Yellowstone universe. Fan expectations and backlash. With great anticipation comes great pressure. Fans have specific ideas about who Beth and Rip are and what their story should be. A spin-off that deviates too far from these expectations could spark backlash. Conversely, adhering too closely to fan service might result in predictable, uninspired storytelling. Striking the right balance is a Herculean task, and missteps could alienate the very audience the spin-off aims to attract.